Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Misty, for those that are new here and probably wondering what type of channel I am. Good question. I'm not entirely sure yet, but today I am going to be talking about my French Bulldogs. Normally I don't have them in the videos because, as you can see, Hero gets pretty excited pretty easy, and Nigel's just my big bully. Whenever Hero gets excited, he tends to get excited and they want to do this. It's a nice, wonderful, stormy day outside, fall day. Today has been a filming day. As you can probably guess from the title of this video, this is the 10 things I wish I knew before I got my French Bulldogs. I've had many dogs in my life. I've had Labs, I've had Chow Chow, Boxers, lots of Boxers, Heelers. Basically, I always grew up with animals, tons and tons of animals. I was without a dog for quite a while, which was really odd for me because I feel like animals really fill a space, at least in my heart, that nothing else can. And so I really wanted another dog. And I did so much research on what type of dog I wanted. And I eventually stumbled upon these guys and I thought they were so adorable. I mean, you see Frenchies all over Instagram. You see them just about everywhere. You'll see a French Bulldog doing their cute yodels, doing their silly antics. And pretty much everybody knows that once you get one, it's kind of like Pringles, you know, you have one, you gotta have another. Not very many people talk about the real negatives of owning a French Bulldog. And if you've had a Bulldog before, like an English or an American Bulldog, you may be familiar with some of these traits because they're very similar to those breeds as well, because they're all Bulldog. But Frenchies definitely have their own set of challenges that come with them. And so today, that's what I'm going to be talking about. They are possibly the most flatulent breed on the face of this earth, period. They are so gassy. They are a non-stop stream of gas. They will fart you out of your vehicle. Every night I spend a couple hours laying in bed with my Frenchies before they get kenneled, and they just seriously just lay down, and it's just like, between the two of them, just a constant stream of gas. Nigels tend to smell really bad. Heroes doesn't really have much of a smell to them most of the time. It doesn't matter what food you feed them, what special diets you put them on. It does not matter. And I have met lots of other French Bulldog owners that feel the exact same way. They are just the most gassy breed I have ever seen or heard of. So just note that if you decide to get one of these guys, your nose is going to be assaulted on a regular basis. They just fart. The funniest thing though is when they will like frighten themselves with their fart. So it's like they have this like really aggressive fart, and they'll like get startled and start looking around like, oh my goodness, what was that? It's like, yeah, it was you, dummy. They shed a lot. I did not realize how much they shed because they're a short-haired breed. So you'd think, okay, not that big of a deal. Yeah, they're gonna shed a little bit. No, I can have Hero or Nigel on my lap and just pet them for a couple of moments, and my entire front is just covered in hair. I sweep my floors in my house every single day. Otherwise, it is like a sheet of just short hair everywhere. And of course, I have a light-haired one and I have a dark-haired one. So basically, no matter what I wear, I'm fucked. Like, they're just hair everywhere. I now do not purchase black anything, at least black that will show hair. I don't purchase it at all. Nope, sorry, not my thing. There's just gonna be hair on it 24/7. They are worse than any dog I've ever owned. They're not Lassie. they are not a loyal breed at all. If they see somebody else they want to be around, screw you, that's where they're going. So I do a lot of skydiving on the weekends, and when I'm at the drop zone, there's kind of like 13 of us that have trailers out there. And Nigel specifically, he'll see someone like walking over to their trailer and he's like, "Boop, I'm done. I'm just," what was that? It's okay, Hero. He's just like, "Poof, I'm done. That's my person now." And he'll just follow them, trot along like, "Okay, we're good. I'm gonna go with you. That's fine." Anybody that has a treat, anybody that, no, just, they're not a loyal breed. If you're expecting like a good old lab or golden retriever that's gonna be by your side, that's your best friend, don't get a Frenchie. They're just not a loyal breed. They don't care. If you have treats, if you have food, yeah, they'll hang out with you. They'll be your best friend. But as soon as somebody else seems more interesting, they're gone. Drooling and their messy eating. So Hero's a female. She's about 3 years old. Nigel's a male, and he is about 1.5 years old. Hero's not so bad about the drooly and messy eating as much, but Nigel is. Nigel on a regular basis has these big old, like, sticky, stringy pieces of saliva that are just filled with junk, like dirt and debris and food, and it's so gross, and it's all the time. He just constantly, he doesn't have any right now, I don't think, but if he gets into something, and when they go to play with a toy, chew on a hoof, the noises they make are so gross. It's just like just constantly. It is so gross. That's just kind of how they are. They're extremely messy. They are extremely kind of gross when they eat. So that's just something to be aware of. Frenchies have little dog syndrome. Especially my boy here, Nigel. Hero can't put a capital B in the word bitch. Nigel is an asshat. They just like will flip a switch and just, I don't even know how to explain it. So Nigel can be fine 1 second playing with another dog. Something happens, he just kind of snaps and he just kind of tries to attack. And it's just, they're a bully breed. They try to bully other dogs. If you've ever seen 2 French Bulldogs play, it's a very aggressive style of playing. It would almost be like, oh, are those dogs fighting? But they're not fighting, they're playing. And it's so bizarre because other dogs don't play like that. And so they seem like they're trying to attack the other dog when they're not. But they are, I definitely say they have little dog syndrome. But Nigel, we're really working on it with him. He tends to dislike any dog that's larger than him. It's kind of funny because he will try to start kind of a fight with them, but then he also gets scared at the same time and starts shaking. So it's like he knows he's smaller than the other dog and can probably get his ass kicked, but he still feels like he needs to prove himself, like big man on campus. So that is something to be really aware of when you do get French Bulldogs. They are a bully breed. They tend to try to bully other dogs. They can bully kids. Hero loves children, loves them. Sees a kid, she wants to play with them all day. Nigel doesn't like kids at all. And from what I've seen, other people I know that have French Bulldogs, that's more typical, where your Frenchie is not going to really care for kids. They do try to bully them around quite a bit. So that is something to keep in mind if you're going to get a French Bulldog. And something I kind of wish that people had really let me know how kind of, I don't want to say bad they are, but just how much of a bully breed they are. Syndrome they really do have, because it is really apparent and really noticeable. And if you have a household that already has dogs in it, expect there to be spats, expect there to be some fighting, expect your little Frenchie to try to dominate the rest of the pack. They're small, they're cute, but they're still a bull and terrier breed, which means they're stubborn. And when I mean stubborn, I mean stubborn. They are, I don't want to say extremely hard to train, but they are really hard to train. They just are. They want to do it when they want to do it. They don't want to do it, then they don't want to do it. And like both of them know come very, very well. You say come, they'll come, except for when they don't want to. If they see someone else that they want to go hang out with more, or they don't want to listen to you, screw it. They won't listen to you. They are an extremely, extremely stubborn breed. Good luck housebreaking them. Both of them took over a year to housebreak. And that's not just my housebreaking technique. Everyone else I know that has a French Bulldog, good luck housebreaking your dog. It takes over a year. They just don't want to do it. Hero, I mainly had issues with urinating. Nigel, for some reason, it was the pooping, but it took over a year for both of them. I first did the puppy pads. Hero refused to use puppy pads, period. Refused to use them. Floor was fine for her. Nigel learned how to use the puppy pads, and then he kind of used the puppy pads as a crutch because he'd go outside, but then he would know that there's a puppy pad available for him inside. We would try like eliminating the puppy pad, but then he would poop and pee on the floor, and then we're like, what's better? Is this ever going to end? Is he ever going to learn how to go outside? And eventually he did. Eventually he got it. I taught both of my dogs how to go potty on command. We do a lot of traveling. So when I take the dogs out, like when we're in a vehicle and we stop somewhere and I need them to go to the bathroom, I want them to go to the bathroom on command, so I'm not waiting for half an hour for them to go to the bathroom. So that is something I taught them, but they are extremely hard to housebreak. The fact that they have anxiety problems. This is not something that's talked about very often. Nigel, when we leave Nigel alone, he will eat couches. He gets bored, he gets anxious. Hero is actually on anti-anxiety medication because the sound of the ice maker in the fridge causes her extreme anxiety. Outside right now, leaves, if she wasn't on her medication, that would cause her extreme anxiety. Hearing kids outside that she can't see causes her extreme anxiety. And so both my dogs have some sort of anxiety issue. At first I'm like, did I raise my dogs in a way that contributed to them having anxiety issues? And no, it wasn't. I talked to my vet, he specializes in Frenchies, and he's like, no, this is a very common thing. Frenchies just have anxiety problems. So just be aware of that. They're not a dog you can leave at home for 10, 12 hours a day. I'm really blessed that I have somebody else that we can work different schedules a little bit, so they're left home alone for maybe 2 hours per day. But they're definitely not a breed that you can just leave at home and they're gonna be fine, because they're not. Everybody knows that Frenchies have health issues. It's just common knowledge. I would think it's common knowledge. It pretty much, if you search what are reasons not to get a French Bulldog, the health issues are one of the first things that come up. And yes, they do have health issues. Both of my dogs have health issues, not extreme health issues, but they tend to have issues with their eyes. They have a lot of issues with their joints and their spine. Spine is a really big one for Frenchies. Thankfully, neither of my Frenchies have spinal issues. I was very particular about the breeder I went to make sure that no one in our lineage had issues with their spine or their eyes or their joints, to try to ensure that my dog wasn't going to have those issues either. So Hero's biggest issue is she has an inverted vulva. Basically what that does is it causes her to have bladder infections a lot. Nigel has cysts all over his face that we've got to get surgically removed at some point. We weren't going to, but the one next to his eye keeps growing bigger, and we're afraid it's going to cause him to go blind eventually if we don't. Nigel is also allergic to grass. We have to put a steroid on his stomach every single day. Otherwise, it breaks out into a rash, which eventually turns into a scab, which is extremely painful for him. So that's something we have to worry about. And allergies. Allergies are so big for French Bulldogs. That is also not something that's talked about very heavily, but according to my vet, again, he specializes in French Bulldogs, that's almost all Frenchies have some sort of allergy issue, and both my dogs have allergy issues. Hero tends to get ear infections from them, and again, Nigel's allergic to grass. And that's just something you're gonna have to deal with. I use Healthy Paws as my pet insurance. I pay about $100 a month. It's a $100 deductible, and then they cover 80%. There is no way I'd have a French Bulldog without some sort of pet insurance. But all the issues that I talked about just now are things that that insurance covers. So when I have to have surgery for both Hero and Nigel in the next couple years, insurance is going to cover all but 80% of that. So something that just to be aware of. I wanted to leave it off on a high note. So like I said earlier, Frenchies like Pringles. Once you pop, just can't stop. Gotta have more. It's true. I don't know very many people that have one Frenchie. You want more than one because they're wonderful. I want one of every color, and there's a lot of colors. Nigel's a brindle, but there's also a tiger striped, which is very similar to him, except instead of being the brindle, the colors are more in a striped fashion. A lot of times they can look black at first glance. You have like Hero, which is a fawn with a black mask. You can also just have regular fawn. There's Sable with a black mask, or there's just regular Sable. There's also blue. However, blue or gray, silver, depending on what you call it. It's a recessive gene, and so people will try to sell you a blue or silver French Bulldog under the guise that it is rare. And yes, it is rare because it's recessive, but it's not a desirable trait, because those that are blue or silver tend to have a lot more health issues, such as being blind or deaf, similar to an all-white Dalmatian or all-white boxer. They just have higher risk of that. And so if you see a breeder trying to say, hey, I'm gonna charge $10,000, $20,000 for this rare blue Frenchie, tell him to buzz off. And that's not in my opinion, to take it with a grain of salt, I don't think that's a responsible breeder. There's a lot of different types. The only color that a Frenchie absolutely cannot be is black and white. Black and white is a Boston trait. If a Frenchie is black and white, most likely they have a Boston genes in their lineage somewhere, but they cannot be black and white. That's the only color combination that a Frenchie can absolutely not be. That's just not something Frenchies can have. So yeah, you can't just have one. Gotta have multiple. Like I said, I would love to have one of every color if I could, but that's not responsible of me either. 2 is more than enough. They are a hell of a lot to handle for being such small dogs. They really are like having a big dog cramped into a very small dog body. I hope this was informative, and I hope it was fun for you. And I am the absolute worst at outros. I just get like rambly and don't know what to say. So I'm just gonna say, please subscribe, please like, please comment. The only way I am going to know that you like what I'm making is if you let me know. And if you didn't like it, if for whatever reason, hit dislike, and also comment and tell me why you didn't like it, because I'm always open to suggestions. I want to learn, I want to grow. If there's anything specific you guys want to see, also put that in the comments, because I love to read you guys' comments. I respond to everyone that I can. And yeah, have a wonderful day.